Hello, GIS participants. It is great to be with you. My name is Joe Velderman, and I serve as the Vice President of Innovation for Cypress Living. We're located in Southwest Florida, a town called Fort Myers, Florida, and it's a privilege for me to be able to be with you today. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my presentation today. It's called 4 Rights, and let's dig into it right now. So 4 rights: right information, right person, right time, right care. First of all, just a brief introduction about our organization. As I mentioned, I work for Cypress Living, and we serve as a central support organization for 2 nonprofit aging services providers located here in Southwest Florida. One is a life plan community, a 22-year-old life plan community called Cypress Cove at Health Park, Florida. It was built in 1999. It's a tremendous community. I believe it is ranked as the 36th largest single site CCRC or life plan community in North America, and we're really proud of that. We've got some really fun campus expansion efforts underway right now. We're in the process of building 48 additional independent living units with a new restaurant and a new clubhouse, some new fitness activities and stuff like that. I'm also really excited to share that 2 years ago, this October, we launched an organization called Cypress at Home, right before the global pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic. And that organization has absolutely just exploded, has taken off rapidly in the last 2 years. So we started with about 36 clients under one business line called our care management business line. And we closed the month of September 2021 with just over 1,100 clients under 4 different business lines: the care management, private duty home care, home health, and then our medical care services or physician services. Very exciting to see the growth of that organization, although it's felt a little bit like a startup organization, and it's definitely kept all of us on our toes. So let me break down the premise of the presentation here. I think you all are well aware of some of the struggles that we face in aging services, but here in the United States, at least, we talk about something called the Silver Tsunami. And basically, I don't really like that term, by the way, but basically the Silver Tsunami is comprised of a generation of older adults here in the United States that we call the baby boomer generation. Called the baby boomer generation here in the United States because after World War II, a lot of the GIs came back and started having families. And so there's been a lot of older adults that were born kind of from 1946 to the mid 1960s. That are part of that baby boomer generation. And our best estimates are that there's about 76 million baby boomers. And in the next 10 years, long-term senior services are expected to welcome an additional 26 million of those 76 million baby boomers. Approximately 75% of people age 65 and older in the United States have multiple chronic conditions. And we know that baby boomers have not done a very good job of saving for their retirement and their health care as they age. So that's one challenge. The demographic population of people that we serve is certainly a monumental challenge for us. But we're also faced in the United States, and I expect globally, that there is a staffing shortage. That's been certainly exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, but honestly, it existed before the pandemic. So best estimates, again, are that there's between 8 and 10 million caregivers in the United States that we're short on. We're just not going to be able to fulfill those positions because the people don't exist for those positions. So how do we take care of this giant population of people in the United States with fewer caregivers? We're a people-driven business. We think here at Cypress Living, at least, the technology needs to play a key role in the way that we take care of a bigger population of people with fewer caregivers. And we'll explain how we're going to do that here in just a minute. So this is a quote that I stole, in all fairness, from one of our acute care partners here in the Southwest Florida market. Dr. Scott Nygaard serves as the Chief Operating Officer for Lee Health. Lee Health has 4 acute care hospitals in Southwest Florida, and then they operate the only Southwest Florida Children's Hospital as well, which happens to be right across the street from where our life plan community is. Dr. Nygaard said, getting the right care at the right time and in the right place ensures appropriate, timely care for everyone within our community. And I like that a lot. I think, this idea of providing the right care at the right time in the right place can do a lot of things, not only for the patient, but for the care delivery system, for payers. We can really start to move the needle in a positive way if we think about delivering care using those 3 rights. But I would suggest that maybe we have an opportunity to add a 4th right. And I think the 4th right sits before right care, right time, right place. And for us, it's the right information. So how do we get the right information to the right person at the right time so that they can provide the right care? I think that really starts the whole process of the 3 rights that Dr. Nygaard talked about. So we're calling it 4 rights: right information, right person, right time, right care. Let's break down right information for just a second. We've all had a tremendous opportunity to glean information from a myriad of different sources. Of course, enterprise applications has played a big role in that for us. I think everybody at this point by 2021 has some sort of a CRM software, most likely an electronic health record, potentially a point of sale application, definitely some sort of a resident engagement application. They all sort of exist within our senior living and post-acute care services. I think IoT devices brings a whole new level of information gathering, and that's something that I'm super excited about as well. So this idea of being able to track people from a convenience, concierge, connection perspective is really something that's very appealing to us. And then wearable devices, we've seen an explosion of wearable devices come to market in the last couple of years, tremendous information that they're tracking. And if we can somehow make that available to providers and to caregivers, I think that really aids in the overall healthcare that we're able to deliver to folks. And then remote patient monitoring as well. This has been around for a while. Again, I think exacerbated or accelerated by the global pandemic, and definitely something that we're very interested in and pursuing within our Cypress family of organizations as well. So let me talk about convenience a minute from the IoT perspective. We think about convenience as sort of this idea of bringing a new level of residential control and automation to an older adult's home. Whether that older adult's home is actually within our community or it's out in the greater Southwest Florida community here or out in the great state of Florida or across the United States, they really could have, tremendous new capabilities of being able to control your home through smart devices, whether that's lighting or temperature, thermostat control, potentially window treatment, ceiling fan, shower, appliances. And for us, we're taking a voice-first strategy on that first as well. So we've been working closely with Amazon and their Alexa line to deliver a voice-first strategy to bring that new level of control within the home. Why we're interested in this is really from a data perspective. So every single time a light switch gets turned on or off, every single time a thermostat has some sort of a change in value, every sort of transaction that happens within the home becomes a micro transaction that we can log and begin to evaluate over a period of time. And that gives us tremendous insights into patterns and activities of daily living. And from a concierge perspective, with that voice-first technology, we think we can really augment a lot of the services that are currently being provided by people today with that voice-first artificial intelligence technology. So from a concierge perspective, being able to answer questions that we routinely get on a regular basis from our residents, questions about like what's for dinner, what activities are happening, is the mail in, requesting services from the community. Can I get someone to help me with a broken toilet in my room? Could I get a ride to my doctor's appointment next week, Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning? Could I get pizza and beer delivered to my home for Game 7 of the World Series? Go Red Sox. And then from a social engagement perspective, of course, we think that there's some really great opportunities for older adults to engage socially using that artificial intelligence. And again, that's something that I think has really gotten brought to light quite a bit over the last 18 months with the global pandemic. People feeling compelled to stay within their rooms or being forced to stay within their rooms in some cases to avoid getting the COVID-19 virus. And not really having opportunities to connect socially. It's done some immeasurable harm to folks. And I think that we have a tremendous opportunity to provide some opportunities for digital social engagement. And that's definitely part of this concierge strategy for us. And then the third C, connection. So there's kind of 4 categories here. Safety, of course, is a part of that. We've been piloting and looking at all kinds of fall sensors and e-call devices and personal emergency response systems to really help people maintain safety within their home. Also, wearable technology, we talked a little bit about this, whether it's a device like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or something like that, gleans a lot of information about activity, location, mobility. But really, I think what the real interest here is some of the biometric or vital healthcare statistics that we can get. What's a person's blood pressure? What's their temperature on a regular basis? How well are they sleeping at night? Super important information that we can glean from wearable devices. I tend to think about wearable devices from a Walt Disney World Magic Band perspective. I think we need to make wearable devices very compelling for older adults to wear. So I think if we just tell them that we're going to give you a wearable device and we're going to track all these vital statistics about you, we're not going to get much buy-in. But if we give people a wearable device and we say this is the key to your door, and this is also the way that you can pay for point of sale transactions, it's also your e-call system. If you need help, just tap the button on the watch and somebody will respond to you and get the help that you need. And oh, by the way, we're going to track a little bit of vital statistics about your healthcare so that we can provide more preventative, proactive healthcare for you. I think we'll get significant buy-in from older adults on that. RPM devices, we're thinking about RPM devices really from a Cypress at home perspective, being able to manage and treat chronic conditions, whether it's CHF or COPD, sepsis, diabetes, those types of things. There's very intentional RPM devices that do a great job of doing that. And then virtual wellness visits. Again, this is something that we implemented mid-2020, kind of at the peak of things ramping up with the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's just really surprising to me how many older adults took advantage of the ability to connect remotely and telephonically with their physician. So we think really being intentional about that and bringing that as an on-demand service can be a real advantage from a connection perspective. So that's right information. I think, again, if we can take all of that information, compile it together, find out what's appropriate for a caregiver to know about as they're providing care, we can get that information to the right person and help them provide the best care possible. I think for us, we think about all of our staff members as being caregivers, right? Not just CNAs, not just nurses, not just doctors. It's really anybody that has any sort of an encounter with a resident and is able to make an observation or have a conversation with the resident as being a caregiver. It might be a housekeeper. It might be somebody doing laundry. It might be somebody working in one of our restaurants. It might be a dishwasher, honestly. It really comes down to we need all hands on deck. We need all people within our community, all of our staff focusing on providing care, even if it's in a very passive way. And so if we can get those folks intelligence about the clients that we're serving and supporting, that's going to really go a long ways in aiding and embedding them to provide that right care. And it also gives us an opportunity to sort of give our staff the opportunity to, I say, play at the top of their license. Really, it's working to their fullest potential. But folks, went to school and have been trained in our industry to do incredible things. And oftentimes, I think that we're holding them back from doing those awesome things by having them focus on menial tasks that need to get done, but are probably not what they went to school for. So this, I think, giving them the right information is one way that we can sort of open up some avenues to allow them to focus on what they really want to focus on, create a more engaging career for them, but also allow them to have more of an effective difference. To do that, we're looking at a lot of robotics. We've got some robotics already deployed within our life plan community, and we've got some more under research and development and pilot right now. So we're thinking about robots from a telemedicine perspective. We've worked with Omni Labs. We have 2 of their Omni Lab robots in our healthcare areas right now. Our physicians are able to remotely drive those through the community and visit with folks in skilled nursing or assisted living or memory care. And that's been a tremendous resource for us. It's really meant faster care delivery, faster visits, etc. We're also thinking about robots from a security perspective, definitely a delivery perspective. We did put one of the Bear Robotics Servi robots into one of our restaurants earlier this summer. It's been a tremendous success. It's a win-win-win for us as an organization, for our residents, and for our staff as well. And then we're working with Chowbotics right now on a kitchen robotic salad maker. Again, robotics, I think, are not going to replace people. I think robots are augmenting the role of people to allow them to really focus on some things that robots can't do. So it's alleviating some of those tasks, and it's giving us an opportunity to free up some responsibilities so that we can focus on doing work, hopefully with fewer staff, or providing more meaningful work to the staff that we do have. I'm just going to briefly touch on how important unified communications is for us. So being able to deliver that right information to the right person at the right time really depends on us having an effective UC platform. For us, that's Microsoft Teams. We give Microsoft Teams literally to every single employee within the organization, from our CEO all the way down to our janitors, our housekeeping folks, our PRN caregivers within Cypress at Home. They all have Microsoft Teams. It allows for tremendous collaboration and communication, but it also allows us a delivery method to get them the right information sort of on demand, which is very important. There's a lot of great platforms out there. Microsoft just made sense for us from a lot of different perspectives, but there's a lot of great platforms out there to get that UC capabilities into the hands of each of your staff members. The right time. So getting alerts and notifications to staff members or caregivers at the right time, I think, is super important. If we overwhelm people with too much information, it's going to become meaningless. But if we can position information at the point of care, that right time, that becomes very instrumental and effective. Think about this for a second. Imagine being an 85-year-old adult with diabetes and CHF. You come to our Dolphin restaurant, you sit down, and you see that the special tonight is a 8-ounce filet mignon. And you haven't had filet mignon for a long time, but it sounds delicious. And you're going to order it medium rare because that's how you loved it when you were growing up. But filet mignon may not be the right decision for you, given the fact that you have diabetes and CHF. And so despite your best intentions of wanting to order filet mignon, perhaps we position information, again, to the right person at the right time. And we give your server a heads up that says, you should really be on a high protein, low sodium, diet. And so as you place your order for filet mignon, our staff member, our waiter, is able to say, Mr. Velderman, have you considered the alternative healthy lifestyle option that we have for dinner tonight? Chicken breast, whatever, right? It's a much more healthy option than that delicious piece of filet mignon. It's not necessarily forcing someone to make a better decision, but it's coaching them through that decision and helping them realize that there is a healthier alternative. And I think through those types of, that's just one example, but I think through those types of interactions, we're able to promote a more proactive, healthy lifestyle. And then I think as we start to collect a lot more information, applying technologies like artificial intelligence and definitely machine learning gives us a lot more ability to provide that preventative care, provide that education to people. So that's right time. And then right care. So being able to look at early interventions to reduce hospitalization and provide infection control on a pop health basis is something that's really amazing to me, right? Leveraging the power of data to make decisions about healthcare and provide avenues for providing that right care based off of data is something that I think we're lacking today across all of healthcare. We're starting to see some of the more advanced providers, at least in the United States, leverage the power of information, but certainly in aging services, it's an area where we have tremendous opportunities yet. We want to be able to promote independence and wellness as much as possible. So again, helping people understand how they can maintain independence through a very wellness-driven model, through education, vital statistics, activity tracking, all of that kind of stuff, is really giving ownership to the individual to make healthy decisions for themselves from a wellness perspective. And then sort of that on-demand from an efficiency perspective, that telehealth avenue, being able to contact a physician, your physician or your provider when you need it, right? Not having to call and wait 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 days for an appointment, but really being able to connect with a physician in an efficient way, likely not an in-person face-to-face encounter, but using technology to connect in an efficient way on demand is something that we think can really start to move the needle from a proactive preventative healthcare perspective. So here it is, next gen senior services. This is how we think about it, you know, really taking a person's environment and pairing that with information from mobile health devices, marrying that with a lot of our enterprise applications. And I call it feeding the beast, but feeding some sort of a data warehouse, data lake, so that we can aggregate all of this information. We can pull information from the electronic health record, resident engagement platform, the point of sale platform, wearable devices, e-call devices, IoT devices within the home, start to look at activities and trends of daily living. And then position that information to the caregiver, whether that caregiver is a person or potentially some sort of autonomous robot device, right? So that we can really provide the most effective care for the resident. Right information, right time, right caregiver, right care. That's the whole premise here. And healthcare IT today summed up everything that we're working on here in a terrific magazine article. It says, healthcare's traditional dependence on face-to-face encounters for evaluation and management of patient risks of the health for both patients and the clinical team. More robust digital technologies make it possible to track a person's current state of wellness, not just year to year, but day to day or even minute to minute. Continuous monitoring defines wellness as what is normal for the individual rather than a population's normal. The solution to the clinical provider bottleneck is machine learning. And I think it sums it up terrifically. So hopefully this has been helpful for you today. Certainly, it's exciting for us. It's exciting for me personally to be on the cutting edge of leveraging some of these technologies to think about influencing the way that we provide care and services for older adults. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present to you. If you all have any questions, I would encourage you to visit our website. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, reach out to me. I am happy to be a resource for any of you. Thank you so much.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the organizing committee for this wonderful opportunity to be able to share with you the work of the Salvation Army Peacehaven Group in Singapore. Our services that is being provided is largely in the eastern part of Singapore. We provide long-term residential care for persons living with dementia and those who require high level of nursing care. We also provide temporary short-term stay for families who need a break from caring for their loved one. And we also provide services for people who are on tracheostomy. Besides the residential care, we also provide day program. For example, we have an integrated home and day center services where there are days that the older person is at home, that we actually visit them in their house and make sure that they ensure that they actually have their medication taken. And we also, some days they are in the day center where they come in for social activities. There are also those who are over the weekend who require some form of support. The loved ones are also with us so that family can continue to do the tasks that they need to do over the weekend. And besides that, we also have the arena, a fun and play intergeneration day program.
Established in 2000, Peacehaven is a nursing home run by the Salvation Army with a full range of services aimed at providing professional care in a Christian environment. 1935 was the year the Salvation Army started various programs in Singapore. By 1972, the first home for the aged was built. And after a temporary residence at Pasir Panjang, residents moved into the current Salvation Army Peacehaven Nursing Home in the year 2000.
Over the 18 years, the nursing home in Singapore also has evolved. So it's the nursing home in Peacehaven. Their expectations also have changed. Today, they would want as many of their needs being met as if they would be at home.
As expectations evolved, so did Peacehaven. Constantly working towards providing a home-like environment for our residents, our aim was to keep them from feeling institutionalized. With 13 resident living areas, residents have their own living and dining areas, just like any regular community, each designed with their own specific programs for the specific group of resident needs.
Over here, we believe in providing person-centered care because as the individual person who stay with us, we involve them in planning their care together because then they are being engaged.
Peacehaven's professional services team includes geriatricians and palliative care doctors, psychiatrists, as well as nursing clinicians and managers who all work together with residents and family members to provide better care. Other forms of therapy here include physiotherapy, hydrotherapy, speech therapy, and music therapy.
One example of when we say music therapy, we have actually introduced the bunyi guitar. This is to help the resident to also make music. And so this actually helps in the psychosocial being of the older person. And when they actually get the music out, they are actually very happy. So this happiness is something that for many years of their life, they never had this opportunity.
To better provide for residents' psychosocial needs, Peacehaven also offers sessions with social workers for both residents and their families, as well as pastoral care.
In pastoral care, it's not just looking at physical, because you're looking at the spiritual and emotion. Important thing is that spirituality actually allows them to find hope, and that hope brings meaning and purpose in life. They can live for another day. It's not so much on how long they live, but the quality of life.
A dietitian first evaluates the dietary needs of residents to ensure both needs as well as preferences are catered to.
We have two main types of diet in Peacehaven. We have the regular diet and we also have our soft diet. So for regular diet, it's for like people who take normal food, rice, noodles, those kinds of things. And for our soft diet, we have 3 different types. So we have costly means, finely means, and also blended diets.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. I should be asking you, how are you okay? Not I terbalik lah. Every professional, everybody who provides a service to the residents and client enter this information into what we call the system, the Ingot software, which was funded and donated by the Land Foundation.
Innovation in technology is something Peacehaven has never shied from in our mission to improve resident care. These values were aligned with the Healthcare Productivity Fund, which supports the quality and productivity improvement efforts of healthcare service providers through technology adoption, process streamlining, and demand aggregation of products and services. And Peacehaven received this funding in 2017 and 2018. Besides innovations, another key focus is also on staff training.
Very good. Okay. Thank you.
The other program that we have is our integrated home and day program. In this program, we have people coming in during the daytime and going home at night.
As part of the integrated service, home visits are also conducted depending on clients' needs in order to reach out to more people in the community in East Side, Singapore. To ease residents into their nursing home stay, various activities that replicate their earlier everyday lives are organized with the support of volunteers. A Life We Know program seeks to empower residents by encouraging exercise.
Why we want them to do that is so that they continue to strengthen themselves, so those who can walk will continue to walk. Those who can be able to move themselves from bed to chair will continue to do so.
As part of the effort to make residents feel as uninstitutionalized as possible, Peacehaven has also consistently advocated for less beds in one room, being even one of the fewer nursing homes to offer 2 or single-bedded rooms.
It's our room.
是我们的房间2个。
We are very grateful for such a pleasant room.
From that, the idea of Jade Circle evolved. The first nursing home to have only single and twin sharing rooms, with a targeted launch of early 2020, it plans to pioneer an anti-diaper, restraint-free care philosophy for persons living with dementia.
The Salvation Army that operates in more than 130 countries has always been very relevant to the society today. Even in delivering care in this home here, we are always been taught to actually talk about innovation and transformation to provide better care. So you can see from the video, you can see that we are using a ceiling hoist. Why are we using this ceiling hoist? It's because we need to hire older person, people who are above 50, 60s, so that they can, with this hoist walking track, they actually can enable our resident to continue to walk, or we use the word ambulate. So normally, you need a physiotherapist, you need a therapist aid to actually get the resident up and walking. But in this, we have make it a normalization of life, where every day you want to walk, but you're sitting on a wheelchair, then how do you do it? So we hire local Singaporeans to actually carry out this task. So to help you to appreciate, understand, this is our floor plan, our building plan. You can see J Circle is over here on this side. And then over here, this is the main building. And then on the right-hand side, you can see is the Hope Center. So in order to then deliver food to every floor, that is where we needed the delivery food, this equipment called the iRobot. We needed this because we have to reduce our manpower by 30%, and we also have productivity gain. So we have 2 of this machine, and it actually moves every day for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner, and to make 2 trips to deliver meals to every floor. So one floor houses at least 100 over residents.
J Circle Suites on Level 4 is an extension of the Salvation Army Peacehaven Nursing Home. It offers single and twin rooms to all residents, including those on government subsidies. Consisting of 22 beds in 8 single rooms and 7 twin share rooms, it follows a restraint-free anti-diaper policy as part of a person-centered care model that stresses autonomy, choice, and well-being. In this environment, caregivers make every effort to help residents regain their independence where possible and remain active and engaged in meaningful and purposeful activities for as long as they can. They are encouraged to join in group activities such as morning exercise, arts and crafts, card games, bingo, and music appreciation, as well as personal hobbies, for instance, reading and playing a musical instrument.
She's the sweetest rose of color, a fellow ever knew. Her eyes are bright as diamonds, they sparkle like the dew.
Keeping residents and clients safe is also an important part of the Jade Circle philosophy. To this end, we have installed a face recognition system that alerts staff when a resident or client approaches the exits of the center. We also have a false detection system that provides immediate alerts via SMS when the motion detection mechanism is activated. Thank you for joining us on this virtual tour of Jade Circle. We hope to see you soon. Bye!
So you can see under the new wing that we call the Jade Circle, we have embedded in technology in terms of this fall detection. You can see that it's in the bedroom and also in the activity area. The reason for doing this is there's only 2 or 3 staff that looks after this 47 residents. So then that will actually help to support the staff, and because they are in individual rooms, so you will not be able to have full view of all the residents within your site.
Spread across this space is a wide range of recreational and fitness facilities to ensure that seniors are actively engaged and empowered to choose purposeful play activities. The facility is designed to maximize the independence of participants, reinforce their personal identity, and enhance their self-esteem and confidence. It also serves to provide support for their physical, mental, and psychosocial well-being. Additionally, through their participation in the games or activities, members are able to earn points or credits that are redeemable for perks and benefits, such as spa sessions, meals, or waivers of membership fees. We start off at the spiritual corner. This is a place for quiet contemplation with helpful prompts for prayer and meditation, with theme changes according to the seasons. Both staff and visitors are welcome to use this peaceful space with the support of on-site pastoral staff when needed. Down the passageway is the exercise platform. It aims to train lower limb mobility and strength as well as balance through its design as an obstacle course. It also doubles as a more physically challenging path to take to reach the arcade. One of the special features of Jade Circle, the arcade features a host of arcade games that will entertain both the young and old. Whack-a-mole, street basketball, foosball, mini bowling, and the fish arcade. These games are not only fun, but can also boost cognitive abilities such as decision-making and multitasking, improve reflexes, range of motion, strength, mobility, and muscle memory, as well as alleviate stress and depression. Moving on from the arcade, we now come to the rehab station that focuses on improving the cognition, strength, endurance, and range of motion of the older person. The virtual step hand cycle requires the user to hand pedal his or her way through various streets or neighborhoods, such as Chinatown and Little India. The virtual step leg cycle simulates outdoor cycling through scenery that may be chosen by the user. Next to the rehab station is the giant building block area. Participants of all ages are encouraged to work together to create structures of their own design, thus promoting teamwork while exercising fine and gross motor skills through manipulation of the blocks. Another unique facility of Jade Circle is Joyland. This special room uses virtual reality projectors to offer an immersive experience that provides opportunities to improve hand-eye coordination and memory retention of both children and seniors. It also triggers memories in the older users, encouraging them to express and explore feelings and thoughts linked to these memories. At any comfortable spot within this level, one may also engage in a session of computer gaming to boost your brain power. Loaded onto easy-to-use tablets, the Silver Arcade is a suite of interactive games that target training specific identified components of cognitive ability, such as decision-making, attention, memory, and reasoning. This is the activity space for workshops and interest groups. Members may participate in lifelong learning activities and workshops according to their interests, such as a handicraft interest group. Cooking and baking workshops offer opportunities to create bonds and memorable moments while working together in the creation of dishes, desserts, and snacks.
So you can see that we have this machine here that every time they do an activity, they earn points. So it is a reward system to encourage them to choose their activity and to participate in it. So we're actually promoting connective, emotional, psychosocial needs so that their needs are met daily. So the factor for successful implementation of all these different technology that we have embedded in our whole program, we need to actually explain to the people, the staff that we hire, the manpower, and give them the support that they need. Explain to them how, why that we need to use this equipment. And we actually have to manage the change by leading the way ourselves through a period. For example, you give them assurance that, for example, the robot that go and deliver the meal, so they say, I will lose my job. This, no, you still have to manage your work. It's just that we cannot find people to hire to carry out the work. So we say you do a better job of just, instead of just delivering, why don't you learn how to do some cooking and do some other tasks? So we have to manage the way and give them the assurance that they still have their job with them. And we always have to check each time when we roll out the program that we constantly follow up with them. Also, we have to manage the stakeholders on the sustainability model. So the different innovation that we use, we know that in the end, we actually utilize lesser manpower because that's all that we could find in terms of manpower to actually look after the older person. So also at the same time, we created an empowering environment for older person, the people who live with us, that they can still be engaged on the daily basis in the nursing home. Thank you. Hi.
Hello, thank you so much for joining us today. So shall we spend the coming few minutes to answer some of the questions? Is there any question from the floor? If not, then maybe let's go to the question we received online. So, okay, here's the first question. How was the technology application be sustained, both on financing and on usage? For example, residents losing interest to existing training facilities. What do you think, Madam Low?
Okay, in terms of the cost of technology, the financing, the maintenance, we actually work out with the producer that we go on the monthly charges. So also for some of the equipment, you know, we actually work on the season. That means every 4 months we can change different products so that the older person will not lose interest in those products, but maintaining for the right purpose that we actually wanted it. For example, if it's a connective activity, we want to exchange it for another type of latest connective activity. So that is how we actually encourage the older person. So what also will actually maintain the interest of the older person is the appetite will become bigger, right? So at least each time when they gain the points, when they actually go to the spa, they go to the salon, they say, no, not this is just too much, always the same. Then they will actually, we will then add in the outing, you know, where we like to go for a meal, you know, whether we can actually go for a buffet, which historically we used to do pre-COVID. And so therefore we are looking up, you know, where our marketplace is open, the older person really have to go, have the chance to go out to normalize out in the society.
Wow, it sounds so interesting and keep them motivated, right? So we have another question here about how success was the earn and spend reward system on encouraging residents participate more actively in workouts.
Okay, so, you know, because, you know, as we understand, you know, for the older person, if you never exercise in your life, right? Why do you grow old? You must exercise to actually fight out frailty. So you cannot understand that. So what we did for the gym tonic, the exercise equipment, we gave them plenty of points. Okay, and the activity, you only requires them to do 2 or 3 times a week. So then very easily they get a lot of points, and therefore their points will rise up very fast, and then that will enable them to actually earn their points fast enough to even go for an outing or have a special meal.
Wow, so it sounds so fun and easy to collect the points. It's really motivating. Okay, so we got another question from our audience online. Is that what is the biggest resistance from the staff in introducing new technology and how you deal with it? So is it difficult to make them learn about new technology?
Yes. So it is very difficult because initially the reason why I went into the iRobot is because I don't have the 4 workers, right? So I need to look at technology. So when I introduced that for food delivery, I was also looking for laundry. So, you know, for the staff, when they don't hear it from you, why are you doing this? Then they'll say they'll be out of job soon, you know? And so the message come to me and that the staff are insecure, they'll be out of job. And therefore what I did was I actually went out to the staff and addressed their concern and ensure them that not only they maintain their job, but they have a higher skill job that they actually can help themselves to do higher skill job and get better pay. So that was how actually I worked through with them. And once they see it going through the whole process, then they realize and appreciate it better. And of course, one of the key factors that actually helped us in the success of the implementation was the COVID. Because during COVID, we cannot move all over the place, you know, we are restricted in the split zone. So this iRobot become very successful because of the pandemic. Yeah.
Right, so we're not just motivate the users, but also to motivate the staff, which is really important. Okay, so there's another question. Okay, this person is asking for your recommendation. Would you please recommend some useful fall detection product that have been used in your institute?
Okay, I think basically, I mean, a lot of the products are when the elderly fall, and then you know, when you fall, then you pick up that, you know, you will attend to them. I think one of the things that I'm trying to still explore myself is one of the things that we can look for that was in a way signal before the person has fallen. And I believe there are some other technology that in terms of monitoring the vital signs, that means when they get up from bed, they will not be very giddy. You know, if they're giddy, you know, you will know that, oh, this person when get out of bed will actually fall off. So I'm still exploring. So therefore, I cannot say which will be a better product at this point of time because technology changes all the time.
Right, that's really true. Technology changes all the time. So thank you so much, Madam Lo, for your time today. And I'm sure we will be in touch with you again really soon. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.